Hey, so today I wanted to do something a little bit different, and it's actually a video I've been meaning to make for a while, but I always keep forgetting. I want to compare these two work lights, and they definitely seem to be the two most popular work lights on the market, at least like in the automotive industry. Everyone either has this one, Astro 40 SL, or they've got the Harbor Freight alternative, the Braun magnetic slim bar folding rechargeable LED light. Yeah, mine has seen a little bit of use. It's seen a good amount. I've had it. So this one I've had for a little less than a year, I would say. Maybe 8 to 10 months. You can see it's got damage here. The actual light bar is kind of loose. And sorry, trying to show you. So you see that wobble? That's why I had to tape it up. So it's used in a professional environment. I use it at work, in the shop. This one, the Astro, I've had it for about 2 years. It's also used in the shop. I would say I use them pretty much the same amount. So this one's probably got a bit more use total since I've had it for longer. This one, I think I got it like an open box return, and it was like $45 or $50 on eBay. I think brand new, they're about $60. This one, I think they retail for like $26 or $30 or something at Harbor Freight. They put out coupons where you can get them for $20. So they both have their strengths and weaknesses for sure. First of all, this one is rated for 420 lumens. This one's rated for 390. So roughly the same. They both charge with the mini USB cables. This one includes the cable and the adapter for plugging into the wall. This one doesn't include an adapter, it's just a cable. The adapters are pretty cheap. I don't know, maybe like $10. So would be my guess. I'd say between like $6 or $10. I'm sure you could go on eBay and find one pretty cheap. So you have to consider that and the price difference. But when I first bought this, I thought that it was way better than the Astro because of this. The folding is like fucking great. It's so much more useful than this fucking shitty ass pivot on the Astro. I mean, the pivot's kind of stiff because it's tightened up. It's like loose. This plastic nut you can loosen it and then it pivots kind of more easily, but then it doesn't really stay in position that well. So there you go. Pivot a bit more easily. But the reason that the actual folding feature is desirable, and I'm also compare the brightness on these two. Say you're working on a car like this, and you've got a tight space down in there, like you're replacing the belt tensioner or something. You can actually angle the light so it's actually going down. You put it on a surface like this, it's actually going down into the space where you're working. Whereas with this guy, the Astro, turn this off, put it in the same spot, And it's not actually shining down into the space you're working, it's shining this way, not this way. So that's why it's not advantageous. Of course you could, there's ways around that. I mean, you can mount it to the hood, I guess, if you wanted to. And now look, gravity doesn't stay, so you gotta tighten up the nut. So basically, yeah, just the whole swivel feature it's definitely a worse design than the Harbor Freight. So let me compare the brightnesses on these two. Okay, so it's pitch black in my garage. This is what the Astro looks like. Just let me get a picture from the front here. Okay, that's what that looks like. Now let's go with the Harbor Freight. Hold on, let me switch this. Turn the light back on. Put the Harbor Freight in the same spot. I'd say it's pretty comparable. I mean, you can judge for yourself based on the image. The lights are pretty much in the same spot, same angle. So yeah, that's what it looks like as far as brightness. Basically, like I said, the same. This camera probably doesn't pick it up very well, but the LEDs in the Harbor Freight, it puts out more of a blue light. The Astro, it's more of like a whitish, yellowish light, so it's a little bit, it's a warmer tone, say. So those are the differences in like basic functionality. And so as far as that goes, if you were going to ask me to make a recommendation, I would definitely recommend the Harbor Freight just based on functionality. Because as you saw, the folding feature is better. So basically better design. It costs about 1/3 of what this guy costs, and the brightness is about the same. Also, this one, see, it's got 3 brightness settings. So it's got bright, bright, dim, and then the third one is actually just, they call it a flashlight, but it's just the lights on the end of the bar light up. Whoa, it's fucking dark now. Okay, so here's the Astro. The Astro has a dial, so it's like infinitely adjustable. I know the camera is kind of like adjusting to the brightness. When I do that, see how it's like getting darker, getting brighter than darker. That's just the camera doing that. That's not actually the light. So, as far as that goes, the other advantage of the Harbor Freight is that this butt cap just unscrews, and you just have a regular lithium 18650. Yoo-hoo! Lithium 18650 cell claims 2200 milliamp hours. So the really cool thing about that is if you have a bunch of lithium cells, like I do, well, I don't have a bunch, I have a few. I don't know where they are, they're somewhere, but they look just like this, but they have yellow tape instead. But basically that just means if you have extra batteries, extra lithium cells, and look, this is just a fucking plain ass cell. Like they didn't really do anything to make it into a battery. Then when you're working with this, and if your battery goes dead and you're not in a situation where you can recharge it, it's super easy to just put it in another lithium cell and keep working until you can recharge your batteries later. You can't do that with the Astro, and I mean, I bet you that it does have also an 18650 cell in here, and we're going to open that up and see. But I mean, look, it's got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 little Phillips head screws that are actually holding that battery in there. So you can't just switch it out like you can with the Harbor Freight. So we will open this up just to check that that's the kind of battery that this has. But like I said, I bet you it does. The only thing that I don't like about the Harbor Freight is just basically, it seems like the durability isn't very good. Not very durable. So like I said, I've had it less than a year, or maybe right around a year, and like the switch is kind of taking a crap. Like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's kind of fidgety when you try and plug it into the charger. There's an LED here that when it's charging it's red, and then when it's fully charged it turns green. And sometimes when you plug it in, even though it's discharged, it'll show green, which means it's not charging, and you have to fuck with it to make it go red and start charging. But let's open this guy up. Let me show you one more comparison of these two lights. Here's the Harbor Freight. Okay, here's where the sort of boundary of where it's actually lit is. There's the Astro. There's the same thing. So it might be hard to tell from the picture on the camera, but the Astro is actually brighter. I didn't really notice that before, and I think it's mostly actually because of the color of the light, because the Harbor Freight has the more blue light that doesn't actually illuminate as well as the white light. The white light is just like closer to what your eye is attuned to. So the Astro is brighter. I would say, I mean, it's rated for an extra 30 lumens. I would say it's at least 10% brighter. Obviously, that's a subjective assessment, but like I said, for the price difference, I mean, you might as well just buy two of the Harbor Freights. Okay, so let's see if we can very carefully open this guy. This knife is not very sharp, so. Yep, oops, turn it on. So open that. So you can see 18650 Samsung 18650-22P. So I don't know if that means 2200 milliamp hours. If that's the part number, I guess I wouldn't be surprised. That's what that's in reference to. And they've just got some shit stuck on here. So these are just leads to the positive and negative terminals of the battery, and in here there's a little circuit board. I guess that's for charging and shit. So there you go, that's what's inside there. So it is just a lithium battery, and I guess if this cell took a shit, you could replace it. Well, except you know what? Sometimes these battery packs, like I know like Makita, and then also like my Lenovo laptop, because the battery pack in that one took a shit, and they both use 18650 cells, but the electronics that are in them, once the cell takes a shit, the electronics, like, they lock out forever. Well, okay, on the Makitas, I know they lock out forever if they when they see it take a shit, because it's like an anti-tampering, like, safety thing, which is bullshit. On the Lenovo batteries, if they see that the battery gets disconnected from the electronics, then the electronics will shut down. They'll just say, fuck you, I'm done. So you can't replace those cells. So for all we know, this could be the same. So that's also why it's probably a good idea for me not to try and disconnect that, in case that is the case. So, long-term serviceability, I mean, that, to me, that is an important consideration. I mean, you can make the argument that the Harbor Freight one is a piece of shit, so long-term serviceability is an issue for it too, but take it apart a little bit further, just a little bit. So you look at the circuit board. Now don't ask me what these do, because I'm not an electronics guy. I'm trying to get this to focus. So if you search for this, the Astro 40 SL, they have a ton of knockoffs on there, and they look like they're all actually made by the same manufacturer. Not necessarily this manufacturer, but just all the knockoffs. They all look like they're the same one. So I actually ordered a couple. I ordered one from China, and it was $8, and I ordered one that was shipping from the US, and it was like $11 or $12. So I'll make another video when it comes, and we can compare it to the real deal, the actual Astro. When I bought this 2 years ago, that definitely wasn't the case. Like, I bought it on eBay and they didn't have any knockoffs. Now they do. So be interesting to see maybe where those guys are getting all their knockoffs from. I mean, for all you know, that could actually be the OE manufacturer of these, or they could not be, but we'll open it up and compare it. That's why I wanted to look and see what it has going on in here. But anyway, yeah, I'll make another video when those come. In the description for these lights, they also say that they're made for harsh and moist and dirty environments, which seems like bullshit, because when you look at this, it's got like no mitigation for dust or moisture. There's like no seal here, it's just plastic. So I'd say that's bullshit, but whatever. Actually, on that topic, the Harbor Freight one, I did drop this in a pan full of antifreeze, and I just blew it out with brake cleaner and compressed air, and it worked fine still. This is the reason why I had it taped up, because this shitty piece of plastic broke. So this guy is all wobbling, but still works fine. 20 bucks. So yeah. Basically bottom line for overall functionality, price, pretty much everything except maybe durability, I would recommend the Harbor Freight one. This guy is good, but you're paying a lot more for it, and I don't really think you're getting your money's worth as much. But if the Chinese ones are actually the same as this, that might be what to really get. So there you go. Hopefully, if you're thinking about buying one of these Worklights now, you'll have a better idea of what you're getting, and you'll find this helpful. Thanks a lot. Bye.